Renee Bays,
Rakim John,
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 Renee Bays,
Rakim John. All right, can y'all give me a beat really quick? Hey, I drink wine for the dick. I deep throat a spine for the dick. Dirty wine for the dick. Hey, and welcome to Podcast of Color. We're four trash bags of color.
Oh, are we recording? Okay. Sorry.
Welcome to Podcast of Color, where four trash bags of color come together to freestyle unity
for the dick.
And make sense of the world. I'm Rakim. How are you? I'm the host for the hour. I'm the host for this hour of power. How are y'all doing today?
I'm feeling fine, like wine. What
But
you
who
been
are you?
consuming all the time? No, never mind.
You're feeling fine like wine, but what's your name?
Huh?
Roll call. Who are you?
I'm Baze.
Oh, okay.
Who is you, Chiron?
I'm John, and I will also drink wine for the dick. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, drink wine and dick.
Oh, John.
Preferably.
I'm
drink wine and
Renee,
dick.
but I don't drink, but I'll take the dick.
Wow. Look at you.
Did we come full circle? Did the top transition to verse?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
The question
Season's
of color
greetings.
is...
Chris
What
was
was
The
in
question of
early.
color is cooking wine safe to drink? Does anybody know the answer to that question?
Sweetie,
Is
I'm
anyone
gonna
on the show
introduce-
actually drinking cooking wine right now?
I'm considering it heavily as sitting right here next to the microphone. I
if
kind of want
were
to be
you,
drunk, so, you know.
I would also.
I don't know. I don't want to get poisoned.
Write in if you think cooking wine
Right,
is safe
send
to
your
drink.
questions to podcastthecolor@gmail.com. If I were you, I would also suggest the word yes, but also there's this great thing based called Google. And
You know what, bitch? I used it already,
And what did it tell you?
and it didn't tell me shit. That's why I'm asking the listeners.
Oh, okay. But
Okay.
you do realize
Ask
that by the
Twitter.
time. But
Anyway.
you,
Ask
Wait,
Tumblr.
what did you say, Renee?
I said ask Twitter.
Oh, that's true. I could ask Twitter. I just don't want to look like a dumbass.
well,
Ask fucking who's that cook?
Jesus?
That famous one?
Rachel Ray.
Chef Ramsay.
No,
Gordon
yeah,
Ramsay?
Jeff George, whatever the one that everyone ats all the time on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. Can you and then use the podcast account?
No, don't. Do
Not if you're gonna get dragged, though, sis. Like
I mean,
our
no
reputation
publicity
is
is bad publicity.
our hashtag reputation is very important. So just be sure.
Our trash bag reputation.
Or what?
Trash bag reputation.
Exactly. Anyway,
Okay,
but
so our real question of color is, oh god, I hate whoever just added this question of color.
Let's go with the music.
Have you ever had a crush? And this question of color is brought to you by one John Kagandahan.
who else?
Have you ever had a crush on your friend's dad or teacher or coach?
Or other.
I feel like there was definitely a coach somewhere in your history, John.
I mean, yeah, okay. So when I was in 6th or 7th grade, I totally had a crush on my PE coach.
Yeah.
He was I think he was like half Mexican and half black or something.
Hi,
but
Miguel.
and he would always wear like really short shorts. And then like he was always like, you know how like in PE they make you guys run around, like do a lap around the thing? I was always like one of the ones in the very
Who walked?
Well, no, I just like gave up early. And like it was always like the coach's job to like walk behind the last person in the group, and he's always like very supportive of me. He's like, "Come on, John, you can do it." And I was like, "I love you so much."
Oh, yikes!
Because when you're shown like any type of like
Yeah,
support from a straight
exactly.
guy at that age,
I was like, he's straight and he's nice. Like, what is this? What's going on?
Yikes. I kind of am attracted to my friend's dad, but they're a listener, so I'm not going to say who it is.
Oh my
but
god, Ricky!
oh my god, wait.
I've seen pictures of their dad on social media, and I have gone,
Wow.
oh, Okay.
You need to text the group chat because I'm curious.
Yeah, I will. But
I was going to
just
say,
like,
it's not my dad
okay.
because he's not around. Oh.
Oh, and mine's dead, so...
Ooh.
Well, you can't have a crush on your own dad. That's what I was...
Can we?
Girl,
no, but he's talking
these
about,
white people don't know that.
Can we rename the group chat No Daddy?
I have no daddy around when I was growing up.
So, okay. Wait, are you done, Rakeem? Or
Yeah, because
still
I'm
done?
going to actually
Oh.
do a Renee, I plead the fifth, I signed an NDA answer for this week. So I can't answer that because I will get my ass beat.
Okay. So, my crush. So, I had two crushes, which was one was on like this white girl named Ashley, and she had this older brother named Philip, and he was a bully. And one time he like chased me, and I dropped my rallies.
What is that?
I had like a. You guys don't remember rallies?
It's like a fast food hamburger stuff.
Yeah, they used to have like the best fries.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had like one of the gigantic cups of soda, and he like chased me down, and like I dropped it in front of everybody, and I was just really embarrassed. And anyway, that's not what this is about. The point is that they had a very attractive father, who just I don't even really remember what he looked like, but I do remember he had like
a dick?
he was like the first white person I ever found attractive. He had like sandy hair and like blue eyes and like tan skin.
Ooh,
Okay,
it's gonna
Taylor
sound
Swift,
like that
calm
one
down.
article.
He kind of looked like a surfer like a young dad, like in his 30s or whatever. And I was really into him. And then there was Jasmine, who's a black girl, and her dad was like this tall, bald-headed, dark-skinned black dude with like beautiful high cheekbones and just like arms like just the size of my head. And I just remember being like obsessed with him. And then I didn't know it at the time that this is what I was doing, but I told everybody that he was my daddy.
Wait, how
and
old
I
were
lied
you?
and made up this whole thing that he was my dad, and I didn't realize that I just really wanted him to be my daddy.
Wow.
Mhm.
I love this story.
Wow.
Oh, is
John
it my turn?
3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only
He
begotten
sent his
son.
only daddy.
Oh,
Not his only daddy.
Jesus,
I've had.
sweetie.
Oh, wait. Did everyone go already?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've had like a crush on like every male English professor that I've had,
Oh.
Oh.
and probably every professor. And no, actually, that's a lie.
Why English professor specifically?
Because I used to.
Wait, why are you laughing? That was a legit question. Did I say something wrong?
No, go ahead.
Not look at. Okay, let's change the subject.
Hold the mic up. You, bitch,
I just
you
wanted to
said
know,
it.
like, because like having a crush on your coach because they're like, I don't know, is there something a common denominator with the English professors?
I think just like this thing when I had as like a kid where like it felt like you were really well read, I guess, and I wanted to be that. So
Oh, that's cute.
Mm.
No, it is cute.
okay.
So it was.
Oh, and then
Everybody?
okay. Actually, no, I can't say that on there because that's a listener too. Just
Wait,
kidding.
who? Sidebar question: who is our favorite like TV dads? I mean, I know he wasn't a dad, but I liked Uncle Jesse. I mean,
From Full House?
That's not a dad.
He was a dad. They had twins.
Oh, that's right.
that's
He did. Okay, then yes. Uncle
It
Jesse.
would be
I
a
like
white
dads
man.
in general.
I mean, who did it?
I think mine
favorite-
was King Triton, and he counts as a TV
Oh,
dad.
that's
Oh my
right.
god!
And he counts as a TV dad because there was a cartoon, a Little Mermaid cartoon on Disney Channel. So
My favorite TV dad is Idris Elba in Obsessed because it comes on TV. And I just thought it was perfect. So, yes. John.
Oh, I already went. Uncle Jesse.
Oh, you said, I forgot the white man. Okay, Renee. do you have
Renee?
one?
Wow. It was
I
the
don't-
hair.
No, I don't think I was. TV. A lot of TV dads aren't dilfs like that. I feel like.
What?
Like who? Like name? I can't really name a lot of people that I can think of.
The guy from Incredibles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know
kidding.
if I. No, but yeah. Okay, yes, the guy from Incredibles.
Okay.
oh, wait, no, he wasn't. Was he a dad on that show?
Who?
I know LL Cool J is like annoying now, but in the house in the 90s when he was on that show in the house. But was he a dad on that show? No, he wasn't, huh?
No, LL Cool J's head is kind of shaped like the tip of a white penis. Have you ever really noticed that? Like, his head looks like the tip of a dick, but like a white one. Like when he takes his hat off. Like, have you...
No.
Look at the side-by-side comparison.
White dicks are a little more round at the tip, or what?
I honestly can't tell you, but I don't know. LL
Well, you certainly sound very knowledgeable on this.
So this is going to be
the intro.
The intro for the show.
We'll be back with Minutes of Color.
We'll be back with Minutes of Color.
Trash, 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 trash.
Hello. Why must you do this? Why can't you just let me have my own spotlight? You always do this, Rakeem.
Because there's only room for one Negro
English
on the show.
person. I am the real English person here.
I've been watching The Crown, so I've been trying.
Oh,
to
I love that
imitate
show
her
so
accent.
much. I love that show so much.
So, the order of the docket.
Well, we do have... if you have been watching The Crown, then you obviously are very familiar with protocol.
That is correct.
Yes.
What? Parliamentary procedure.
Protocol, John. Protocol.
Protocol.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like work. What's the protocol?
The protocol is the list that we have of topics for the Minutes of Color, and I'm actually just getting into that. I just wanted to, announce it to our listeners, and I just wanted to take a little moment to just shine a little bit, but unfortunately, you dirty jealous bitches won't let me do that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take the
dumpsters
spotlight.
don't
Who's
show,
dirty? Because I'm always
but-
clear.
Okay, so a lot of shit has happened this week.
Apparently
and
not
it's
in
only
John's
Monday.
ass, but
What?
that's not
I
in
hear
John's
you,
ass.
Liam.
But
I hear you.
sorry, keep going.
In two ways. So, obviously, many of you have heard that the Supreme Court has upheld Trump's travel ban, which is... I was going to say super annoying, but I don't feel like that really covers, like...
That's just really annoying.
I don't feel like that
What an
really covers
inconvenience.
what it is. But, yeah, so that's happening. Also, the Republicans passed their tax bill, which is just going to make everything great. And, the middle class is going to just build up, right on up, and it's just going to be great for our economy and all that. So, we're just all very excited about that here at Podcast of Color. But, I just want to take a little step back from politics and just talk about the bullshit of the world,
Mhm.
So I want to say a week ago, I just kept seeing people talking about Dancing Dan as if he had done something bad. And if you guys don't know who Dancing Dan is, he's the guy that is dancing in those videos where the black guy's like, "Oh no, baby, what is you doing? What is you doing, baby? Oh no, baby."
Oh,
And
well, yeah,
they're
what
like
happened?
pranking. They're like pranking celebrities
Right.
and and all
They,
that
like
other
break
shit.
into places and like steal stuff.
Yeah. And so I feel, I just feel ashamed because I've always been attracted to Dancing Dan. I just was like,
Same.
oh, that skinny little light skinned man. He is just he's cute in his dancing. When he would do like the dance where he would like hop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like twerk his
that
legs.
that little hopping dance that he would do. I was just like, oh, bitch, his dick is good because he had like a little the rhythm in his hips. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
But
God.
anyway, that's not what this story is about.
Baze is
Turns
horny.
out that Dancing Dan is white, so that's number one. I didn't know that at all.
Wait,
actually.
what?
I had no idea that he was white.
Dancing Dan is white.
Yeah, he's a full blown Caucasian.
What? No.
I've now seen him without his beard, and he doesn't. He looks like a full white man. Like he does not look like he. You know what it is? It's the hat and the beard.
Wow.
And he doesn't actually have an upper lip. It just looks like he does because of the beard and the mustache.
What is his what is his @ on Twitter?
Dan Rue, I think, RUE.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So somebody posted a video of him, of this dude was getting his hair cut. It was this black guy, and he was arguing with Dancing Dan, and Dan was like, the dude was like, oh, so you say nigga, and he was like, well, listen, if you say cracker, then I can say nigga.
No,
sweetie.
And he was like, so say it, say cracker, say it. And the dude was like, cracker, and he was like, okay, well, nigga, if you say cracker, I can say nigga. And he kept saying it.
Oh no, baby, what is you doing?
Yes, and people like Black Twitter went the fuck in. He a few days ago posted a video on his Twitter account. Apologizing for using the word, and not.
Is this the
my
one
intentions were? Huh?
Is this the one where he's in that orange sweater that says unemployed?
Is that it? I don't know. I don't remember what he was wearing, but he was definitely like, I just didn't. When I was using that word, I underestimated how you guys would feel about it. And I just didn't, I just didn't use that word with any sort of hate in my heart. And I just learned a very valuable lesson. And it's just like, sis, you've been, like, I'll never see him around nothing but black people. So, like, you should have known better. You should have known better.
Yeah.
And somebody posted a clip of him and the black dude were, like, on some radio show. And they were saying, I forgot what they were saying, but he said nigga on there. And the hosts of the show were like, wait a minute. Nah. And then the black dude was like, oh no, he got a hood pass. He got a hood pass. And they were like, who gave him the hood pass? Was it you? Because we didn't give it to him. And then he was like, oh, Boozy gave it to me. First of all, Little Boozy posted a picture of his 14-year-old son talking about he was gonna hire somebody to fuck him.
Oh,
so
no.
y'all, a woman, but still, like, y'all, like, what do you?
I'm still shook that Dancing Dan is white.
So you really don't want Boozy to be. You don't want Boozy speaking for you.
No, he's like
Drag.
He doesn't look white. I don't know.
I thought he was. I didn't think he was. I didn't know he was white either.
Like he owns slaves white. He looks like
He looks.
I mean, maybe
ethnic.
but maybe because of the context. Like, you think like he's always hanging out with what's the main guy's name?
I don't remember.
And you
Apparently
like a lot of
Enabler
people
is
assume
his
like,
name.
oh, they're all together, so like, oh, you're black too.
It's not because of that.
What I mean, what I don't.
I thought he was black. I just looked at him. I thought he was black. He looks different with his hat off. It really makes a big difference when he doesn't have the hat and the beard. It makes a huge difference. A lot of black people did not know that he was not white. Huh?
But I mean,
what?
No,
Renee said he looks like white.
He looks white.
Oh.
He looks white too.
Well, a lot of black people couldn't tell either. But yeah. So anyway, he is white, unfortunately, and he is garbage, unfortunately. Yeah. So that's too bad to hear.
Too bad.
Apparently, there's a Supernatural spinoff, and it's called The Wayward Sisters. And I'm really not into Supernatural like at all. Like, I tried watching one episode and I couldn't get any further than that. But Mark watches it for his show, and I'm always having like we're running into like fans of like Mark and the show because they like watch him watching it, and they're always talking about how like useless and horrible it is, and so I don't really like, even the fans of the show know that it's garbage, but people just kind of stay for the chemistry of the two main characters.
Wait, you said
everyone ships for some reason? Yeah, they're all. I mean, even the fans are like, the show is useless, but They like the main guys that are brothers, and everybody ships them together for some reason.
We're brothers. We're happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five.
These brothers are full-blown Caucasians.
Oh, well, I was directing that to you, but I guess I wasn't supporting.
I don't know that I know you like that. Like, sir, we are cousins at most. That's a quote from Kimmy Schmidt. If you guys don't watch the show, the first season is really funny.
No, because I'm black.
I won't cop for the second season. Anyways, yes. So the main one of the women in one of the main characters is actually a woman of color, and she's playing the granddaughter. I have it up here. Let me just open my phone back up.
Take your time.
She's the granddaughter of Loretta Devine's character. So I just thought that was cute. I don't have that information here, and you know what? I really don't care about looking it up, to be honest with you, because I probably won't be watching it. But just so you know, it's called Wayward Sisters. Renee, did you want to talk about something?
What was that?
That was me playing with the back of my throat hole.
Oh, so yes.
I got to prep for when Mark gets home.
Okay.
Renee,
Yeah.
do you want to?
Okay. So,
Yeah.
it looks like. Here, 1 second. Sorry. So, one Jose Inez Garcia Zarate, who is 45, was an undocumented immigrant. Apparently, it hasn't been confirmed, but either accidentally shot somebody by unwrapping a gun that he found, or was aiming at a seal and it ricocheted on something and hit a young woman and killed her. So now, because he had been picked up by authorities before and then released instead of being turned over to immigration, people want, Trump in particular, and a lot of other people want to stop sanctuary cities, and San Francisco is one of them. And it's been, even, I would say, I don't want to name a certain person, but even on like, and I shouldn't expect it any better, but even on like liberal shows, I've seen like the reporting, and it feels really weird, and it feels kind of like this is a tragedy, of course, like this is fucked up, like completely fucked up. But it feels a little bit like they're gonna use like the fuck up of one person to blame like an entire community, and kind of like try to like impede on their rights.
Wouldn't it be amazing if white people were held to, the same standard that we are? So like if one white person represented their whole community, could you imagine?
Listen, if white men were held accountable for the amount of white shooters that we have in this country, like so it's just like it's so weird. I don't know. Like I said, like even during the liberal stories, like it just like comes off as so weird, and it feels like it's like drumming up hate, and like I don't know, it just feels really irresponsible. But
I know. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I know that we said we weren't going to talk about a lot of this, but I just wanted to point out something that I thought was really important, and that is I just wanted to point out the difference between what good reporting and bad reporting is, and I specifically just wanted to mention the tax bill really, really quickly, and then we'll move on. But
yeah, go for it.
When you see a website saying something like, "Oh, this tax bill was a win for the president and Republicans," don't listen to that site, because they're not actually reporting what the facts are. What you want to listen to is someone that says something like, "This tax bill affects you this, and this way." Like,
right.
Not that, "Oh, like Republicans got to win." And it's so funny because I see it so often where people say like, "Oh, Republicans got to win here," or "Conservatives got to win here," but they're not actually detailing what that means. Like, if conservatives can get a win by saying abortion is banned, period, but like that's a win for them, but that means it's shit for everyone else. So just be careful of like where you get your news stories. That is all.
Right. But yeah, that's basically what I wanted to talk about as far as that story is concerned.
Okay. So leading in to this, that's a perfect transition. It's really not at all. I'm just saying that.
It's okay.
Matthew McConaughey, according to
wait, how do you spell
Kate
his
Winslet.
last name?
I have no idea, girl. I just threw it out there. I was like, this is gonna be what it is.
Matthew McConaughey.
I don't even look, bitch. I don't care how to spell that man's name. Apparently, he was supposed to be Jack in Titanic, and so maybe many of you may not care, but this is particularly important to me because I just last night saw Titanic in theaters in 3D with reclining seats at the AMC in Times Square, which I hate Times Square and it was hell, but otherwise, lovely experience. 10/10 would recommend. Writing my Yelp review as we speak.
Were you going to say writing my reputation? Yikes.
Yes. So I don't really see how that would have worked. I just can't see Matthew McConaughey as Jack Dawson. It just would not have worked. But also, I really just, put that
maybe
story
back
in there
then,
so that I could.
Matthew McConaughey, when he was younger, he was like a lot more like, I would say, a lot better of an actor, maybe.
Oh,
You know what? He was in that civil rights movement where he movie where he represented Samuel L. Jackson's character.
A Time
he
to
was a
Kill.
lawyer. Yeah, that he was really good in that movie, and he was also in Almost
That
Died.
was a super okay, let me just shut up. But anyways, yeah, he was in that movie.
What?
I was gonna say,
Hi,
it
John.
was like nothing. Let me not go into. I was just gonna say it was just like a super liberal movie. Like even though like he was on like the right side or whatever, he was really like, I don't know. He was like, oh, why do you think all white people are bad? Not all white people are bad. Like it was just like I don't know.
Oh yeah, but I expect that from movies.
Yeah.
Even today, I was gonna be like, I expect that from movies in the 90s, but I just expect that from Hollywood in general.
That's true. Yeah.
you know who is a fine white man? Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's not. We're not talking about Jake Gyllenhaal. We're talking about Titanic.
We're talking
bitch.
about Matthew McConaughey. Hey.
So
But
anyway,
I just want to
I
spell
watched.
Jake Jyllenhaal.
I love that there's like
because
absolutely no N in here. I'm sorry.
There is an N after the H
Oh,
in.
that's
for
what I
the
said.
bitch.
Jyllenhaal. My master taught me how to read. Sorry, I just wanted to put that out there. Jake Gyllenhaal is fine
So-
as fuck.
Rakeem is drunk, y'all. Just so you know.
Rakeem's been drinking
Um,
wine.
I still haven't even taken a sip yet because nobody responded to my tweet asking about it.
Yes, they
Um,
did, actually.
Oh, did somebody?
I retweeted it and they responded to that.
Oh, well, bitch, I guess you just that bitch, huh? You just got the juice, huh?
I mean, pull up in that monster automobile gangster. I don't know. Some of us got it like that. They said cooking wine is gross and full of sodium. Waste of money. Definitely never drink it.
Here's the thing. I didn't buy it. I didn't go to the store and buy it so I could drink it right now. I had to make some shrimp and grits, which came out delicious. And I needed that for that. But I happen to also have it in the house, and I don't have any like drinking wine, so I was like, why not? It's a little bit more alcohol in it than the other wines at the store. So I just thought maybe it might be possibly something I could do. Anyway, yeah. So I just wanted to take this moment to stand all things Rose DeWitt Bukater, Titanic. First of all, I just want to talk about a couple of the iconic moments, like when the beginning of the movie when the Model T pulls up, the shiny ass Model T, and Rose hops out the whip with like some like power suit from like the Edwardian era, bitch, with some big a gigantic ass like purplishly blue hat, and then she turns to her maid and she's like, my coat, and the maid is like, it's right here, ma'am. She was like, oh, okay. I didn't want it, you know what I mean? I just wanted to know that it was there and available as I'm getting on this goddamn ship. I just like how when she hopped out the whip and like looked up at the ship, she was like, oh, I guess this is the Titanic or whatever. And then like her nigga was like, bitch, this is the fucking Titanic. It's the biggest ocean liner ever to exist, bitch. You can't be not excited about this. And she was just like, I mean, I guess, yawn. Then she like gets on the ship, and this is where I really wasn't for. As she's getting on the ship, there's like the voiceover from Old Rose, and this is like, oh my god. And then when she was like, it's been 84 years, bitch, I was like, yes. Because you see the gift so much, and I was just like, yes, bitch, I'm seeing it in the actual film. What?
Have you seen Keke Palmer's Rose?
Bitch, this is not what we're talking
Keke
about.
Palmer's delivery service.
Titanic. Can we talk about Titanic?
Not Keke Palmer.
Can we stick to the topic at hand?
No, Keke Palmer, she has pants with pictures of Rose and Jack on. Well, not actually Rose.
Oh, okay. This is topical. You may continue.
So she made these pants that, like, she cut out pictures of Leonardo DiCaprio, and she put them on her pants, and then she cut out pictures of roses, like, not actually Kate Winslet.
Yeah.
But it's because she really likes Titanic. And then she went on, I forgot what show, I think it was Steve Harvey.
This cooking wine is nasty.
But, I mean, look at these pants. I mean, I'll send it.
She delivered those looks. Keke Palmer's delivery service.
That's going to be the name of the episode.
Okay, so back to Titanic.
Oh, wow.
And there was like the moment where she was like gonna kill herself, and the nigga came up to her and was just like, you ain't gonna kill yourself, you're not jumping off the ship. First of all, Jack, you don't say that to somebody who's suicidal and about to jump off the motherfucking ship.
I know, it's stupid.
You don't be telling people what they not gonna do. You got to talk him down.
That's what he was doing in his own way.
He was not doing it correctly. I've been watching Law and Order SVU. There's a specific protocol that you need to follow when you are talking a person down from killing themselves.
I mean, I'm sure Jack doesn't really know the art of de-escalation. And like,
you know what? But he knew to get involved and make it his business.
Wow.
So,
I mean, spoiler alert, guys, so.
Yeah, anyway, as she was getting over on the ship, and there was like the voiceover from Old Worlds, and she was like, I felt like I was on a slave ship taking me back in chains. And I was like,
Sweetie,
of all, bitch, your first
did she really say that?
class. She did, and I was like, bitch, you in first class, bitch. You in first class on a luxury liner on the biggest ship in the entire world, and for all time. You got a private deck. You got 2 maids. You got a whole like box full of Monet's, paintings by Monet the artist. Like, how you a slave? But I was like, you know what? You my problematic fave. And like on Twitter, I called her, I think it was Rose Mackenzie Susan Becca DeWitt Decatur Dawson. And that's just my name for her right now.
Piper.
Because, she's my problematic white girl fave. But she's a survivor as well. And
wow.
When I was seeing those tweets about Taylor Swift and how like name a badder bitch than Taylor Swift, Rose Mackenzie Susan Becca DeWitt Decatur Dawson, she survived a fucking ship sinking. She had an abusive fiance, bitch, and she made it. She made it through. Like that iconic scene where she got drawn by Jack, and she was like, "Draw me like one of your French girls." Like my friend leaned over to me and was like, "That's the first nude selfie," and I was like, "That's so true."
God.
Like she sent that nigga nudes, and that was how she did it. And then she had the nigga Cal, and then she had the nigga Cal like giving her the fucking heart of the motherfucking ocean, and was like I mean like Rose DeWitt Decatur's pussy stay wet. It must stay wet because all these niggas on her shit.
Well, I mean,
all
since
these
the
niggas
Titanic did sink, so it was
ice
very
water.
wet.
Yes. Anyway, oh god, there's just too much. Like the scene where she like puts her hand, I don't know if it was hers or Jack's hand on the window. I think it was hers because just the positions of the body. It just was that movie was just so magical, and I didn't even get to say everything that I really wanted to say because my memory is just shot. But anyway, Titanic is that movie. Rose DeWitt Decatur is that girl.
That reminded me of? You were saying first class on slave ships. Can you imagine what first class on a slave ship would be like? It would just be like,
oh my God, Rakeem.
That's why
I know what it was, and if we really want to
get
dark,
hello, darkness, my old friend.
It was probably the captain's bed.
Oh no, okay, so let's.
We don't want to get into first class on the slave ship.
Yikes! Okay, I wasn't going to go there, but let's.
Okay, well, listen. You wanted to take it there.
Thank you for listening.
So, in some good news, Bryan Singer was fired from Bohemian Rhapsody, which is a movie about
Queen.
That's what they're called.
What?
It was about Queen. And, not for, like, abusing young men or anything like that, but just because he was, like, not showing up on set. And he said that apparently him and Rami Malek were getting into a lot of altercations. And he even threw something at him. Like, I'm sorry, Bryan Singer threw something at Rami.
That ass.
So,
let me stop. I'm sorry.
Wait,
you say that ass?
Movie?
Yeah.
Who's going to play Freddie
and
Mercury?
It's Rami Malek.
It's Rami Malek. But the issue is that they're going to actually be taking a lot of the queerness out of the film. And I think they're going to be focusing a lot on the other members and not him, not the main guy, Freddie Mercury.
What? How could they not?
And is Rami Malek
Hollywood.
queer?
I don't know. I don't know his life.
But wow.
Yeah. So, but I mean, sort of good news. Like that means that he got kicked off the movie, and that's a little bit less money that he's going to be making off of it.
Wait, did you see the picture of him though? I don't know. I thought it looked kind of good, but maybe not. I don't know.
Oh, I'm not saying anything on that. I'm just saying that like there's some things that they're taking out of the film, which were kind of like integral to his life.
Right.
And,
yeah.
So it's kind of
and
weird.
Bryan Singer
left
is
out
trash
from
anyway,
shit.
so he shouldn't be working still, and people shouldn't be working with him. So
Exactly.
I feel left out from shit like this because my Christian school upbringing just maybe not know who any of these people are. Like the only
I don't either, girl.
Like the only people I mean, I know who they are, but the only people I was allowed to listen to was Destiny's Child. Like, and that was it. So
that's the only heavenly CD.
No, well, because they had a song called "The Gospel Melody" on their CD and 3LW, but like that was pretty much it. Like, and they had a gospel melody on the CD that was like.
I think that like, you know, put you down the
Oh,
right path,
speaking of that, did you hear the Beyonce duet with Ed Sheeran?
Oh, girl, did I hear it?
No.
I didn't actually.
You
and
didn't?
I refused
It's good.
To. Was it good?
It's very good.
Well,
it's better than the
Beyonce's part
Eminem
is.
one.
We don't know what that is. But the Beyonce part is very, very good.
Oh, I just avoided it because I was like, that Eminem thing was just a hot, tired, ran over, disgusting mess.
That was Jay-Z's fault, and also happy
That really
birthday,
was.
Jay-Z, I guess. But like,
Oh, he would be a
Does he
Sagittarius.
deserve it? Does he deserve it?
what was that?
Oh, I was just talking to myself. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well,
I was just saying, does he deserve it? I don't know.
happy birthday.
Mm-mm.
He gets it from me. I liked 444. I paid money for it, I guess. But you shouldn't have cheated on Beyonce.
And then made her do a song with Eminem, or asked her to do a song with Eminem. That was a bad business decision.
That's it.
So Real Housewives of Atlanta, y'all watching it?
No, but I did hear about Candy's or intro line or something like that. What is it? Is it like is it something like, oh, test the boss and you'll get fired or some shit like that?
I don't remember because I skip that every time.
Oh,
I
do
just
you
don't
really?
I don't listen to what they say when they come in.
Wait,
What
is
would
the
your
one that
intro
was
line
spreading
be?
lies back?
No, Phaedra's
Yeah,
not there.
no, Phaedra's not, but Portia's still there.
Portia's
I
dumb
don't-
though, so
She is. Her and Nene just got into this big ass argument, and like Nene's bun was falling down. And Marlo, who's my favorite, Marlo is my favorite. She called somebody a faggot, and then she was like, "I would never call anybody a faggot."
That's what I just said before the show. Remember the gif? She was like, "I would never say faggot."
I would never say faggot. Faggots, let me hear you make some noise. Marlo's my favorite. Yeah,
She
she's
wants a
probably
peach so
homophobic,
bad.
but I still love her. Like, huh?
I said she wants a peach so bad.
She does, and she really does deserve it. Like all these white men,
What
she
does
got
she
taken
do?
care of
Marlo
her.
has
She
more
would make
money
the
than
show. She would make
everyone.
that show so much more interesting, huh?
Marlo has more money than everyone. What does she do?
She has a stable of rich white men, of older rich white men.
Bitch, me too.
And when she has to take one out for a ride, she does. You know, and then she gets the gold.
those are goals, though. I want a stable.
Mm-hmm. Listen, same. That's why I like her so much. That's why I want her on the show. She really needs to she needs to be on the show. She should be on there before Portia should be on there. And she's much more interesting than Portia.
Oh, I thought you meant this show, and I was like, I think the fuck not.
Oh, no. Yeah, so I don't know. That argument was just really funny. And then it was really funny watching Kim like mess with Kenya. So then Kenya did say something transphobic, which it was just like, oh girl, like I wanted to root for you because Kim
Why?
really was coming at Kenya. Kenya was just sitting there quietly, and Kim was like coming at her crazy. And then Kenya finally snapped and was just like, oh, like something about like cutting your dick off. And it was just like, girl, that would be the first thing out your damn mouth.
They all run
yeah.
to just the worst insults. Didn't Nene say something like,
It's so
or
lazy.
no, Kenya said something like, or someone said something about worry about pimping out your daughter or something like that.
She did, and actually, I thought that was funny because
No, it
Kim.
is. Because
I thought it was funny
does.
because Kim posted, added Chrissy Teigen or John Legend or whatever, and was like, "Who does my daughter have to blow to get John Legend tickets?" So she put that out there.
Well, I was just about to say I didn't see the lies, so
Yeah, and then she flipped out and tried to fight Kenya, and then they had to drag her out of the house, and her husband popped up out of nowhere. It was just like, yeah, it was a mess. But this episode was actually interesting. And then it was funny because Nene is like super jealous of
everyone,
Kenya and what's Cynthia's relationship, because there was a point where Cynthia was like, well, you have to admit that Kenya didn't pop off the way that she usually does. And Nene was like, how? And I was just like, she did say something transphobic, so she did pop off the way she usually does in that regard. But otherwise, like, she did sit there silently, and she told her to cut her dick off. Yeah.
The Housewives were a fucking mess, and it's
you
like
can't really root for anybody on this show.
No.
I just watched for kicks.
The only person I really like is Candy because she just minds her business and like dusts off her Grammys and makes money. But
it makes money.
Her mama is a fucking mess. Like,
but she's chilled out a lot.
Like, my worst fear in life is becoming Mama Joyce. Like, I refuse. Like, she's evil. Like, did you see when she was like, when they were at last season, when they were at like the opening of like Candy's store, and like she was just talking about, oh well, Sheree, I heard this, and it's like, girl, you were literally like 73. Like, don't you like? And your daughter is rich and has Grammys. Just you have, like you have all the money in the world, and you still in mess. Go away.
Yeah, I would just, if I had that much money, if my daughter was giving me that much money, I would just want to relax and chill. Like, I wouldn't. But you know what? I think she thought that Todd was a threat to her money, and I think that's why she was so.
Girl, if I had that much money, you couldn't pay me to pay attention. Are you fucking kidding me? I would be living in the bowling alley that's in my backyard. I would be on a yacht. I'd be in fucking Patagonia somewhere. You wouldn't have to worry about
riding a.
But if you feel like somebody's going to be a threat to all of that. If you think somebody's going to be a threat to your travels and your luxury.
But the issue is you think of them as a threat instead of an asset. That's the difference.
That's true.
It's pettiness.
David Yates, who's the director of the new Fantastic Beasts film called Johnny Depp's domestic violence situation, a dead issue, and basically defended him because that's not the person that he knows or whatever. Wow. And so I'm just, y'all know I've long been a Titanic. Okay, also Titanic, but Harry Potter stan.
Yeah.
You know what? Titanic is on the brain, bitch. That was a good ass movie, and seeing it in 3D just changed my motherfucking life. And in the theaters because I wasn't old enough to see it the first time. Anyway, we're not going into that. So I'm probably not gonna pay to see this movie. Like, I'll wait until it's like on. I mean, obviously, I'll pay then. I'll be streaming, but like, I'll probably see it like when it's on like Netflix or something because. First of all, the first one was just not that good for me to be like really conflicted about it. And second of all, you guys have fucking Colin Farrell as Grindelwald. Like, that was fine. Like, that was fine. And he was fine. And he was sexy. And he was giving you everything
with
that
that
you
black
needed.
girl. And it's like,
oh my God.
I used to watch that video so often when I was in middle school.
You watched it a lot?
Yeah, the one where he's like having sex with his girlfriend. Anyway,
that's neither here nor there. You say I could have this breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh yeah, with his Irish accent.
Fuck. Let's calm down.
This guy's response sounds really shitty.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna go into everything that he said, but. The gist of it is that it's okay that Johnny Depp is in his movie because it's not that big of a deal in whatever, and it happened once and blah, 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 and the same excuses that they always come up with. And, that's fine if you just want to, like, lose money. Yeah. That's cool. J.K. Rowling was, like, blocking people on Twitter who were tweeting at her about it, which I guess I get because it's kind of annoying. But at the same time, I'm just like... She trying to like rewrite history and like, well, really Dumbledore was gay, and actually, people don't know this, but McGonagall was actually like a quadroon. Mm-hmm. Her great grandmother was black.
What?
And but really,
what's a quadroon?
I'm just coming up with it. That was how they used to classify black people with a majority white ancestry. So a quadroon is if you have 3 white grandparents and 1 black one.
Oh, I thought that was like a macaroon. I was like, girl, I'm so hungry. Like, that shit sounds so good.
No, bitch, I'm talking about like quadroons, mulattoes, octoroons. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, this is the kind of shit she say. She be coming up after the fact talking about.
She has some like fucked up politics too, doesn't she?
I don't even know.
She has said some like, fucked up shit on Twitter and in general, and then she'll be like, when people disagree with her, she'll be like, "Well, Harry Potter would disagree with you because."
Ew.
Yeah, it's really fucking.
She's very Caucasian. She's a full-blown Caucasian, and that is just who she is. And you know what? That's just what it is. I'm not gonna argue with that. But all I'm gonna say is, she needs to chill on coming out with all these like afterthought stories about how diverse her book is or whatever. And just be who you are, which is a full blown Caucasian.
Yeah, like when you say that, it sounds like you got like diagnosed with a sickness. They're full
you know what? Did I lie?
No, doctor. There's anything but that.
There's nothing we can do.
I'm sorry. You have full blown Caucasian.
I do want to say
This
not
is not
not in her not in her defense, but I do want to say though that the culture is a lot different now. So I'm not. So I do think it's really funny that when she does that stuff, but the culture is a lot different. Like I think that a lot of the stuff that's talked about now wasn't talked about then. So I'm not saying that that's like an excuse for her, but I do understand why. Or let me not say I understand, but like I can see what she's trying to do, but it comes off as very contrived. But I think we sometimes forget that like when did Harry Potter first come out? Not Harry Potter,
Like 97.
Yeah, like a lot of the stuff that we talk about now wasn't out then, and we didn't have the internet like we do now. So a lot of people just weren't privy to a lot of this shit. But I do think sometimes that it's like, okay, girl, we get it. Like you're a liberal, but like whatever, like But anyway,
You know what? Part of my issue though is the fact that it actually was being talked about, but the issue is like who was listening to the people that were talking about it. And so, like, I think that's my issue with a lot of with J.K. Rowling is that she doesn't listen. She does a lot of talking, but she doesn't do a lot of listening.
No, I understand, but I do
She's
think
busy
that,
blocking.
No. I agree with you.
She's like, expecto patron.
I agree.
What is the one that you lose your memory? That Professor, what's the nigga's name? The professor that was supposed to be like
if John
super pretty.
answers this, I'm gonna sock the shit out of him.
What?
He said, "What's that nigga's name?" And they go, "Oh, that nigger."
I don't think
all my point is just that like in
Professor Lockhart.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
My only point is that in 1997 there wasn't like this cultural. I was also 5, so maybe I didn't fucking know, but there just wasn't. To my knowledge, like until recently, like within the last 5 years, there just hasn't been this kind of cultural shift that we've been talking about. A lot of social justice issues in the way that I feel like it's kind of prevalent in mainstream media now, whereas before it wasn't. So I'm not going to say that it excuses anybody or anything like that, but I understand why people... Like, all I'm saying is I understand that the culture was a little bit different then, so I get that people might not have prioritized a lot of the stuff because a lot of people recognize the 90s as a time where people go, oh, well, like, racism isn't a thing if we don't talk about it. And, like, that was a really prevalent mindset back then. Yeah. So it's a little bit different now. However, I know when she does it, I know a lot of people, like, eye roll because it's like, girl, sure. But,
JK
like...
roll.
It's like J.K. Rowling has to be like J.K. a lot, but
you know what? Part of it too is that when people were initially upset about his casting because he was in the first movie as well, he didn't show up until the very end. She kind of was like, "I like approve of it." Basically, I don't remember the exact quote, but it was like something to the effect that I approved of this casting.
Harry Potter would approve of Johnny Depp.
Harry Potter was actually a Johnny Depp fan. Well, and actually his favorite movie was Edward Scissorhands. I don't know if you know that.
Damn, can't help you there.
You watch Crybaby on the regular?
Yes, Hermione was very into Crybaby. That was her favorite. And actually, I didn't write this. I didn't put this in the books, but there was actually a Johnny Depp fan club in the Gryffindor common room. That was where they had their meetings.
Sirius Black was like shaped after Johnny Depp. Is what I mean.
Oh, was he?
No.
That wouldn't surprise me if he was.
No, but it sounds believable, right?
It does sound believable. Like, I mean,
That's
gonna be me when I get my series out.
When
I get my first series out, I'm gonna just be coming up with shit. I'm just like, yeah, bitch, that's what really was happening. I'm gonna have like the Twitter folks dissecting the book, and they're like, well, really, if you really think about it, this is what's going on here. And I'm just like, bitch, you so smart.
Gina was actually secretly a furry, so she's an ally to furry.
Oh my god! Yes,
furry
she had a dungeon full of
animal
costumes.
No.
Clearly, Seamus Finnegan was bisexual. I mean, if you think about it, really.
This. No, what's next?
I want us to write a series just so we can do this for like 20 years after it's released.
I mean, there's literally the whole like Harry Potter fanfiction.net is like made for this. This is literally what it is wish fulfillment.
Raven Dementia. Wait, what's her name? Ebony Darkness Dementia Raven Way.
Who?
Anyways.
Mm-hmm.
You lost me there, girl. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really have too much because I was like, bitch, I want to get in and out with this episode today.
He wants a quickie.
Oh, what?
He said, "No words, no talking. Come up. I'm lubed up. I'm clean. Fuck me. Come and go." That's what Bae said.
So, okay. Well, we're not going to transition from that to the Melanie Martinez story.
Yeah.
So, anyway, fuck Russell Simmons.
What happened?
Oh,
tell us about
Russell Simmons.
Tell us what happened.
Russell Simmons and apparently Brett Ratner have been like partners in crime with abusing women
What
and
the fuck?
Sexually assaulting them.
Oh no.
He also wrote into Terry Crews to tell him to let go of the story of that that producer that groped him. And Terry Crews posted the email on Twitter.
Oh my god.
So Russell Simmons is gross and disgusting. And apparently, is it true? Do you guys know that he's been dating Kimora Lee Simmons since she was like 14?
Ooh.
I don't know if that's true, but I heard that he definitely has been dating her since she was underage. So I don't know. Maybe that's some blind item shit, but he's disgusting. And, I'm just really glad to see all of these predators and abusers getting outed. Matt Lauer got outed, and he is truly, I don't even want to read.
The
Mark
news
told me it
reporter?
was disgusting what he did. Matt Lauer?
Oh, just kidding. I'm thinking
he's
Matt
on
Lauer.
He's on Good Morning America, I think.
Oh yeah, so it's the same guy. Okay.
Yeah, he got exposed. Apparently, he had like a way of locking his office door from his.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
He had a way of locking his office door from his desk, so that women can get out once they came into his office.
Ew.
So he just is.
That's like what
truly a
evil
piece of shit.
cartoon guys have, like a little button on their desk, and like you can't escape.
Yes. So folks is getting out of here.
It's like a reverse silent alarm. That's trash.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, yeah, it is the reverse silent alarm.
Yeah.
And Joaquin, you said that. Could we not go into like the details of it? But you said Melanie Martinez.
Melanie Martinez is trash. Just Google her. The long story short is she assaulted her best friend in a way that she should not have done. And her best friend talked about it on Twitter today, literally like 10 minutes before we started recording. And I've always been, like, Melanie Martinez has some songs that I thought were like really interesting, but they've been very, very like weird. And apparently a lot of the songs that are on that album are about her abusing her friend, allegedly. So I would just say Google it, because I don't have all what do white people like to say? I don't have all the details of this case yet, so I can't really give the true account. But like, it's really disturbing. But also, like, who listens to Melanie Martinez? So
yeah, well, something like what?
Oh, I'll say in a second. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, what's something like happy or like innocuous, fairly innocuous
To talk about?
Yeah, like let's just go out with
new
like
Charlie
a nice
XCX
little
mixtape is coming out, and Carly
Oh my God.
Carly Rae Jepsen is on it.
What?
you're the third person to tell me about that today. Also,
Really?
Grammy nominations came out.
I know who else told you about that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Mickey Blanco is gonna be on it.
What?
Oh,
I'm super stoked.
okay.
I'm so excited.
Also,
Isn't there like no white men
yes,
nominated in the best record or whatever?
yeah,
Or
in the album
Grammys?
of the year category. I'm trying to find it.
Yeah.
I searched Grammy 2018, and the first thing that came up was Ed Sheeran snub, and no, he was not snubbed. He
yes.
doesn't deserve it. For album of the year, it is Jay-Z's.
SZA was. Oh, go ahead.
It's Jay-Z's 444. Childish Gambino's Awaken My Love. Damn by Kendrick Lamar. Melodrama by Lorde. And 24 Karat Magic by Bruno Mars. And here's the thing. There's a bunch of black people here, but I really want the white person to win other than
You know what? Yes.
I was like, Lord,
really do.
Over Damn.
I was like, Lord deserves. Like,
Over
Either
Damn.
melodrama or damn. Either melodrama or damn.
like, Lord's gonna get it, and I was like, if the white girl wins, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it.
Melodrama
Like-
was that album.
That's a
Like,
good album.
They'll put us in
That was
the
probably my favorite. Wait, actually, my
Still the Louvre.
Like, it's amazing. Damn should win. I mean, Melodrama or Damn should win. To be honest, if Childish Gambino wins, I'm okay with that too. But
yeah, I'm fine with it. But I don't really like care one way or the other. I mean, it would be cool if he got to be an EGOT. Does he have a Grammy already?
Childish Gambino, I'm sure he does. But I want Beyonce to be an EGOT so bad. I don't want Jay-Z to win strictly because I don't want him to win Album of the Year before Beyonce does. That is all.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, after Lemonade got snubbed, there's no way in hell 44, which is about his response to, his dealing with cheating on her should win. No way in fucking hell.
But Baze,
SZA got nominated in like 8 categories, didn't she?
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to find a SZA accent to say this in. Let's see.
Oh yeah, SZA.
And she should have been nominated. To be honest, she should have been nominated for record or album. Or whatever of the year.
8 awards. 8 awards.
Oh my god, SZA, she's back. That's 2 weeks in a row. Oh my god, girl, thank you for showing up to the podcast of color.
I was mad. I was mad last week when you asked Rakeem a question and he responded as SZA, okay.
Okay.
I was dying. Tyler, the Creator, got Best Rap Album.
I love nominations.
Oh, did he?
Get all the Grammys, do it for fun. Don't take it personal, baby. Personally, I'm surprised you got all the... I don't know. I can't go from there, but...
Okay. That's cool. I'm not a big Tyler fan, so...
That album is so good. Have you heard the album?
Okay, maybe I'll check it out.
It's probably one of my favorite albums this year, like, aside from Damn.
Okay. Did you guys see somebody on Twitter, Steve Lacy was like, I'm tired of messing with people. I'm just going to date myself. And somebody retweeted and was like, I thought you didn't like black guys.
Well...
And I was tired. And then I went and looked at the actual tweet, and all the replies were like gifs of like, you know, the question mark or like the side eye or like, wait, but you don't like black men. And I just thought that was really funny.
You played yourself.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess that's gonna be it for the Minutes of Color. So we'll be back with the discourse. So thank you.
Hello. We're back with... What are we back with, Baze?
We're back with the discourse. We are going to talk about a lot of lovely things today. Mostly we are going to talk about the privilege that you have, and what you use the privilege for in terms of yourself and your life, the lives of the people around you, and
if they're conditional,
that is what we are going to talk about today.
Like
your privileges and conditional,
like shampoo and conditioner.
Merci.
Dead. Who wants to go first?
Right. So, I think
John.
I'll go first. Yeah.
Do it.
So, privileges that we carry.
That
if they're
you
conditional. Yeah, that I carry.
Do not speak for us, please. Thank you. Merci.
Right. I'm sorry. I won't speak for anyone. And they're conditional, and what's the other? And how do we use them to help benefit other people? I think was the prompt. I couldn't. There's a lot of French going on.
Oui, monsieur.
Let's see. I think there's a lot of obvious privileges that I carry. I think I benefit a lot from like my presentation. I think it's like masculine sort of. I'm like air quoting this presentation. I mean, as we all know that like there's a lot that comes with male privilege, and I think I sort of benefit from just presenting masculine, even though that's not how I necessarily feel all the time. And you know, like, and that right there is kind of conditional too, because even though I present masculine, I don't really feel like, well, I don't identify as a cis male. So I don't know, when some people say that like, like it must be easier for you or whatever because you're not, you present as this like kind of typical masculine presentation. I think that's what to me comes as conditional, because like sometimes I don't feel acknowledged by my own queer community. Like they don't see me like, and I'm quoting, as queer as them.
And you mean that as far as like gender?
Yeah. Like I feel some people can express themselves in ways that I can't because of like work or just like safety. And I mean, I guess I could, but there's a lot of things at risk. So I guess I do benefit from that, but it's also a little conditional because sometimes I feel like an imposter sometimes. But
because you're not presenting yourself the right way or the queer,
right.
the queer way.
Yeah. And then, but I'm also I know I benefit from that if I just want to just like blend in like a regular space, like the everyday 9-to-5 person who's going to work and blah, blah, blah. Like I'm not as easily clocked. And sometimes, and I'm shrugging, like sometimes I like that, just not people, not easily, I like not being easily clocked. But then there are other times when I'm like at the gym or at these like male dominated spaces where people are like, that dude's a faggot. Do you know what I mean? So like there's a lot of I guess there's benefits to it, but there's also like people are like, we know what you really are, you're just a faggot and blah blah blah. Like some people don't want to like work out next to me, or some people don't want to like change next to me. So there's that. I think sometimes when I get like really depressed, and this is kind of like what also prompted me to talk about this topic, is that like even though there's a lot of things that bring me down, things that I have to remember are the things that I'm lucky for, and I guess I would call those things privileges. Like I feel lucky that I benefit from never being diagnosed with like a physical illness, or I benefit from my able-bodied privilege, or I benefit from like having a job and going to college. I mean, it wasn't like, I know I joke about like never going to university, but the fact is I did graduate from high school, and I graduated from a JC, and that's like a lot of things that a lot of folks never had the chance to do, I have a roof over my head. I have solid friends and family. So these are all things that I benefit from, I think, and a lot of people don't have. And I kind of see that like with my patients, like this is what I do every day at work. And I'm just like, fuck, I'm so privileged when I hear, like when I'm reminded daily, like who's sitting in front of me and what things that they don't have. So yeah, sometimes when I'm feeling low, I just like remember like these are the things I'm looking for, and how can I use this to benefit others, So I do have a job, and I do have this like okay paycheck, and so like if I'm going out with friends, I'm always like, hey, I mean, you guys know me in real life, or people who know me in real life, are like, I'm always willing to pay for someone's food or some like whatever, because this is what I was privileged to have, and I want to help other folks, like donate money when I can, things like that.
You help your poor Latino.
No, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant at all. It's just like, here was this thing that was given to me, like, you know what I mean?
No, you do. You do.
Okay. Sorry. All right.
But so here's the thing, that it's so there's a privilege of you like passing, right?
Yeah.
But then there's also the thing of like you feeling like when you're actually in part of your community, or the community that you feel like you belong to, you feel like you don't pass there, or you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
You're maybe not accepted there.
I feel like I get looks, or sometimes I get comments like, or even like someone had commented to me recently, like, you're just like another cis male and blah blah blah, and I was like, oh cool, because that's how you think I identify just by looking at me.
Right.
So that's the condition I'm talking about. It's
Right.
like, because I look this way, even though there are benefits to that,
Right.
you know, as far as safety goes, my own community doesn't acknowledge my actual identity and how I feel.
Right.
And I think that makes me sadder than like the actual like repercussions of not passing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I could care less about my heterosexual counterparts or non-LGBT, whatever. Like, it hurts me more when my own family, like queer family,
Right.
doesn't acknowledge who I am. So,
Well,
guys,
John, I have a question for you. Like, does it hurt or does it get to you when, because I think when it comes to what you were saying in terms of like, you know, you passing, and like, you know, sometimes having like the stereotypical like macho kind of man look because you have tattoos and you're tall and that kind of thing. Does it bother you when it comes from, like, does this mostly come from strangers, or does this mostly come from, like, when you say your queer family, does this come from strangers, or does it come from people that you know, or like where does that come from?
You mean the critiques like from my queer family?
Yeah, like what you were just saying.
Some strangers, like on social media, or like even in person, where I'll have an example. There's this woman that I know who's trans, and she didn't really acknowledge my gender queerness. I think she just like, oh, I don't see you as femme at all, and that's sort of like, I don't know. It's just kind of like, coming from her, it meant something else than if it would from, I guess, a cis hetero person. Do you know what I mean? Like,
No, absolutely.
like it feels different coming from someone from your community. And for her to not acknowledge who I am, even though like I'm verbally expressing to her in person to her face, like, this is how I feel and this is how I identify, and then for her to respond like, I don't really see that, it just kind of hurts. And it kind of like debunks the privilege of, I guess, masculine presentation.
Well, how do you go
there's
about?
still a privilege because you can like walk down the street and not most of the time and not be scared, like,
Right.
that
I
you're
know
going
I
to
benefit.
be
Yeah, I
clocked
know I
the
benefit
way.
for that.
Right.
At the same time,
But
How
then
do you-
but in your community, you're not
Yeah.
actually validated for
it's like
how
when
you
I
feel.
walk into, you know, the outside world, like, yeah, I benefit from that. When I walk into queer spaces, people are looking at me like differently.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that, Ricky?
How do you reconcile those feelings? Like, coming from, like, if this was a trans woman that told you that, like, how do you I don't want to say deal with, but I guess deal with those feelings coming from someone who does experience so much oppression? Like, does that make you,
Right.
like, I know that doesn't feel the greatest. So do you just kind of accept it and say, okay, well, this is what it is, and I do have this privilege, and you move on? Or do you?
Well, it's a
push
little bit
back
of that,
or-
but also like I seek a lot of validation. I know that sounds kind of like needy, but sometimes I seek validation from other members of the community, and so like I talk to other people who identify as genderqueer, or even some trans women. I was like, hey, do you know, like, this happened to me? Like, what are your thoughts about it? And like, sort of, I cling on to what they have told me, was that like, hey, if this is how you feel and this is how you identify, then that's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you shouldn't let other people, even people from our own community, like, police how you feel about yourself and how you identify. And so like, basically I just hold on to that. It's basically this whole like, no one is queerer than thou, and
That's
you know,
a word.
yeah, if this is how I feel, then this is how I am, and I'm sorry that like I can't, you know, I don't like look like this or look a certain way all the time, but I don't know, it's just I don't know.
Well, I'm sure, John, that's going to help a lot of people. Because I'm kind of sitting here shook right now. Like, that's actually really great what you said. Does anyone want to go next?
No, you can go, Ricky.
Oh, okay. I think I probably have a ton of privileges. I'm cisgendered. I can be straight passing depending on the situation or where I'm at or what I wear.
Can you?
Bye.
I'm joking.
Wow, see right there, conditional. The conditional.
Like I have like you were saying, John, I have a roof over my head. I have a job. I have access to certain things. Like I have access to certain other kind of jobs.
I forgot to mention we have health insurance privilege.
Oh, well, that's because I'm under 26. Like then,
But still,
yeah. But yes, I have health insurance. I'm not. God, what was I gonna say? I said I'm cisgender. Oh, I'm a male. I identify as a man. So I don't have to, so I don't like deal with any kind of prejudice when it comes to that. And I think one thing that I've kind of realized recently was when it comes to body image, I never really talked about myself in terms of like having any kind of like muscular privilege or that kind of thing. But recently, like to straight people, I'm realizing that like straight people and gay people have a very different like definition of like what looks like to them. And I was doing this event at work, and I don't wear sleeves on some of my shirts because it like constricts my arms, or like I don't know, they're hot. And like a lot of there was like a group of older women, and they were like, "Oh, you need to put your arms away because they're so muscular," and blah 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 blah. And like that was the first time I ever heard that said to me, and I had to check myself.
Wow.
And yeah, but I realized that like I might have that privilege when it comes to certain people, and like that's fine too. It's just accepting that I have that privilege, and then not trying to make other people feel shitty because of it. I think with me, I've never really had an issue, kind of saying what privileges I have, but I'm more so focused on trying to use those privileges, I guess, to oh my God, I'm so sorry, my allergies are killing me. I'm trying to use those privileges to kind of help other people, I guess. Mm-hmm. So the fact that like I have a like quote studio space that I can photograph stuff in, or the fact that we're able to record this at my job, and that like, I have a job that's willing to let us do this here and that kind of thing. But also, like, I guess, realizing that there are certain things that I might complain about sometimes that other people might have worse than me, and I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, just because you have something worse doesn't mean, or just because someone might have something worse doesn't mean that someone else isn't allowed to say that they have something bad. Like, right. I'm never going to be someone that's like, I always use the example that's like, if I got one of my arms cut off and you got both of your arms cut off, I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, damn, you got both your arms cut off. Like, I'm in pain too. But I'm also learning that, the person that has their arms cut off, both their arms cut off, is going through some shit that I just don't understand. And it's my responsibility to really kind of step back and say, okay, well, I do have this one arm left. And I think over the last 6 months to a year, it's really kind of been a learning process of stepping back and kind of realizing like what that means. So a lot of the stuff that I've been learning about, is especially, and John, you've helped me a ton with this, is when it comes to gender identity, because that's just not necessarily been an area that I've felt conflicted about. And so a lot of times, like, I don't understand certain things, but what I've learned is to sit back and listen. And so with a lot of privileges that I have is, so for example, I was listening to this podcast called First Name Basis, where they were talking about a topic where the MTA, I guess in New York, and Bays, maybe you can confirm this, but they're going to start like where in New York, where they're going to start using like gender neutral language, and so they're going to say things like, instead of ladies and gentlemen, like they're going to start saying passengers and riders and that kind of thing. Yeah, and
that's cool.
And
hopefully maybe next they'll make trains that like work and run on time too.
Oh yikes! Well, That's a
But
discussful horror.
yes,
day.
this is also good news. Yes.
But it's like, it's great news, right? But I remember thinking, like, when I first heard it, like, I didn't really understand the significance of it. And then I had to check myself because I'm like, well, that's not something that I necessarily, I don't want to say deal with because I don't want to make it seem like an issue. But it's not necessarily something that I would consider because it's not it's not something that I've, had to kind of talk about or deal with growing up. So I'm learning that a lot of times, like when it comes to stuff like that, I just have to shut the fuck up and listen. Like, and that's the thing. I'm never someone that's going to be like, I understand everything. I get everything. I know everything. I'm above anyone. I fuck up so much and I don't understand a lot. But what I'm learning is to sometimes just shut the fuck up and listen. And so, like, when it comes to stuff like that, like when John has talked about a lot of stuff on the show, I don't understand a lot of it because it's not something that I personally identify with, but I can sit there and say, well, you're my family and I'm going to sit here and listen to you. And not even just that, you're a person. So I'm going to sit here and listen to you and hear what you're talking about. So a lot of the privileges that I have are, and I guess even having the ability to sit and listen to someone and say, I'm going to take a step back is a privilege in and of itself. Yeah. But I think it's kind of on us to really say, we do have these privileges, so how can we use them to help other people? And so the last thing I wanted to say is one thing that I really have kind of paid attention to in the last few weeks to months is being able-bodied, because it's something I've never really ever thought about that. And I remember I don't remember what it was, but I said something and a friend told me that's like ableist, and I remember thinking what, shut the fuck up, whatever. But then when you really kind of take a step back and you look, that is a thing. And I remember seeing this and I remember seeing this post on, not even just a thing, it's like people's lives. And I remember seeing on Twitter this person who was in a wheelchair saying that they want to be a model signed by an agency and that kind of thing. And the comments under it were just so disgusting, well, you're in a wheelchair or this and that. And it's what the fuck? And it's just I think one thing that I definitely need to be better at and educate myself more on is, things like that. So, for example, someone was asking to rent my job out to have a party and was asking if we had a ramp or an elevator, and we don't have that. And it's just I felt shitty, and it's it's stuff like that. And it's you don't even really take into consideration a lot of that stuff. And so that's something that I want to definitely try to look into more and educate myself on more. And I guess I'll just end by saying I am, I don't know everything. I can't know everything, but I'm going to try my best to try to help other people with the privileges that I do have. So, yeah.
I'm really glad you brought that up, Rakeem. If I could say something real quick, is that because I'm also so I got a new job, and yay, we're learning a lot of things as far as our medical documentation, and there's some things around differently abled clients that we should change about the way that we refer or document on these medical records. For example, this person is wheelchair bound. We're not saying that anymore. We're saying person who uses a wheelchair. Or, just there's basically, or someone, I can't, with, someone has visual or auditory, I couldn't think of my examples right now. But basically we're just, changing the language, and that way when we start changing the language, we can, bring things to surface, and people can start, once we start changing the language, you can think about things differently and just be more aware. And, working, that event is a good example, because sometimes, when I go to a space, I'm thinking, fuck, are there other queer people here, or blah, blah, blah? Is this going to be a safe space for me? But, we also got to think about other folks who, is there going to be a ramp for me? There's all these other things that we don't think about, but that other people need other people to think about for them as well.
Right.
Baze?
I don't know. You guys kind of kind of covered the gambit of it.
Do you have any privileges you feel are conditional?
Yeah, but I think I talked about that last time with just sometimes I'm attractive, sometimes I'm not, sometimes I'm...
You're always attractive.
Well, thank you.
I'm kidding.
But yeah,
Wow.
I don't know. I think you guys kind of covered it. I really don't actually have a whole lot more to add to it, to be honest with you.
Can I say something real quick?
No.
I was gonna mention that Oh, so sorry, Baze. You're not gonna go any further.
No, yeah, go for it.
I was gonna say that I know that like in the Filipino community, a lot of people say that I benefit from like being a light-skinned Filipino, and I benefit from like height and like my sort of quote Spanish side of me, which is like, first of all, you don't really know where my family is in that. I don't know if there's any Spaniard. I know a lot of us do, but anyways, but because of like the way I present as far in the Filipino community, a lot of Filipinos don't think I'm like quote real Filipino. Like I walk into, I work in the healthcare field. A lot of Filipinos are working in the healthcare field. Like they're speaking Tagalog in front of me, or they're saying things about me like in front of my face, and I'm just like, I can hear you and I can understand you, but like. Even though I tell them, like, I understand Tagalog, they think I'm lying because they're like, you're not real. Like, they think I'm joking. Like, you're not really Filipino. Or, like, I used to be, back in high school, I think I mentioned this before in previous episode, that I used to be in Asian Club. But, like, when I was in Asian Pacific Student Association, people were like, why are you here? Because you're not like real Filipino, right? And I was like, wow, what does that even mean?
Well, I'm sorry, John.
That'll be an interesting topic to talk about one day, is policing identities in the way that we talk about them. Because, a lot of people are saying, like, Meghan Markle isn't really black because she's so white passing.
Which is so funny, because I thought she was black immediately looking at her, but I guess.
I didn't initially, and then the more I looked at her, I was like, you can see, like, the little crinkles in her edges. You can always tell by the edges when somebody has some black in them.
I thought Dancing Dan was mixed.
Huh?
I thought Dancing Dan was mixed, but I guess he's white.
Yeah, so you never know. But anyway, continue, Rakeem.
No, I mean, that was just pretty much... I was going to piggyback off of what you were saying, in that I think it's a really interesting thing, in that is it a privilege to quote unquote, like, I don't want to... not pass, but like, is it a base? Maybe you'll understand if I say, like, if someone says, like, you don't act black enough, like... Or, is that not having a privilege? Like, if you quote, like, act black enough around certain people, is that a privilege, or whatnot? I don't
know. I don't think everything needs to be quantified that way. Like, I don't think everything needs to be like, oh, this is a privilege and this isn't a privilege. You know what I mean? Like, I think some things, I think we need to adapt our language, I guess, as needed. I think that, like, obviously, I mean, that's not what we're talking about today, but I think that, I don't know that acting black is necessarily a privilege, like acting quote unquote like the way that black people are supposed to act. I don't think that that's necessarily a privilege in black spaces, but obviously like it's beneficial when you're around black people to be able to like interact and
right
and blend in.
I just say that because I know we saw was saying, like, I've said it before, like when I was younger, I was bullied for not quote like being black enough for these certain black people. And that goes into a whole other conversation and who decides what blackness is and blah, 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 blah. But what I'm, to not overcomplicate the question, I guess, is like, John, how you were saying you felt like you don't, like how people sometimes don't consider you Filipino enough.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you were at a disadvantage in any kind of way, or?
Well, it makes me feel like, when you're the nerd who goes to the cafeteria and like was trying to find a place to sit, and like I want to sit with my Filipino community, but like they look at me like I shouldn't sit with them. And I don't even know why I'm like making that scenario, because it actually happened to me in high school. Like there was the Asian table, and I like wanted to sit with the Asian table, but they called me white rice because I was too white. I'm
so sorry.
And so like I was like, fuck. But if people know me in real life, or like if my close friends know me, they know, like, I don't know, that I am super proud of my culture, and like I love everything about it, and there's nothing that I don't think makes me less Filipino than, the person who's, I don't know, who's a little darker than I am. And so I used to get, I actually got jealous for a while. I was like, man, why am I so pale? Like, this sucks. But
to be fun, that I don't know what that word was supposed to be. To be fair,
yeah,
if you were like a light skinned black person saying some of the stuff that you're saying right now, I would be like, girl,
right.
But I get where you coming from, but like, girl. But anyway, I'm not Filipino, so
right.
I'm
But would
just
you tell that
let
person they weren't actually black? Like
No, but I wouldn't, like, whenever I've had light skinned black people be like, I actually wish that I was darker skinned, and actually,
And
I would just be like, girl, listen, I don't want to hear it.
This is why
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah,
but
I know that sounds kind of weird, and I meant to say that, like,
but I'm not Filipino, so I'm not coming at you. I'm just saying, had you been black, I would be coming at you, but you're not black, so.
No, yeah, so there's this thing with, like, white Latinos where they're like, oh, I have it so hard because no one actually believes I'm a Latino or whatever. And I think maybe the whole point of this discourse is just, like, it gets complicated because, it totally... I would never invalidate somebody being Latino. I mean, I would say you're a white Latino if you're a white Latino, but I wouldn't say you're not a Latino or not Latino enough.
Right.
But having said that, I would also say, okay, but you don't know what it's like to be a darker skinned Latino,
right,
and like the shit that you have to go through when you are such, and like how different your experience is going to be if you are. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's like, so there's like the two sides of the coin of everything is like, or like several, is like the privilege of maybe being a part of the group that could potentially benefit more in the real world. And that's, that's a privilege, but then also like this thing of like people discounting because you are part of the one that benefits more, that you're not that thing at all, type of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? So it like it totally gets complicated.
I do want to actually just do a rundown of like my privileges, because we are acknowledging our privileges, and I don't want to be like, well, bitch, let me just skip this. So obviously, like, I am able bodied, so that is like, that was something I was going to mention before, but then you mentioned it, Ricky, and I was like, damn, that was the one thing I was going to bring up. But yeah, I'm able bodied, and like it's something I don't really think about too much until I'm like talking to a disabled person, and like I was at this convention, and I don't know if you guys know what's their name? What's their name? Is I think it's like PLC History. No, they're that person on Tumblr who like does like analysis of like art history and like people of color in the art, and
I don't know, girl. You said Tumblr, and I checked out.
Medieval PLC. That's their name. Medieval PLC. And
that's right.
Yeah, and I was at a convention with them, and we were talking, and they were talking about like being invited to a convention, and just having how like things were not didn't have access to things the way that they needed them to, like they like things didn't have ramps, they would just have stairs, or and just like the struggle of that, and how they have to, like, when they go to conventions, they have to like make sure that all these things, like, hey, like, does your hotel have this, does this location have this, does this venue have that, and like these are things that I don't ever have to really think twice about. Right. I mean, let's see, I am cis, I guess. So there's that aspect. I really don't have to really, I guess, worry about like all the issues that trans people have to worry about. I'm thin, so like I never worry about like
clothes.
Like, obviously I have body image issues. What?
I said clothes. Like you're like when you're going to buy clothes.
Oh, that is true. I've never really had to be like, oh my god, I don't know if this store is gonna have my size.
Right.
I've never had to worry about like, is this place not gonna have my size? That's never been an issue for me. I never have to worry about you know, am I going to this party? Oh my God, like, I have to take my shirt off. Like, oh my God, I'm not going to fit in. You know what I mean? Like, I
like
don't.
the beach.
These are things that I don't. Huh?
Or like the beach, or like swimming, or just
The beach, pool parties,
Mhm.
gay events.
like people
you
that
know,
like
but-
that brings up a lot of anxiety for some folks. It's like I can't
Yeah.
take off my clothes.
Yeah, and those are things that I don't really have to think about. So I guess
Yeah.
that's my privilege.
Hmm.
How I use these things. The only one I guess I really ever like actively use is the attractive one, and that's if it works and I can get by on it. Like if I could get some free shit, or like if I could get away with some shit, just because somebody thinks I'm cute, I will definitely take full advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
Not like not abusing not abusing people or taking advantage of people, but I mean like you know what I mean, like getting like little freebies, or like getting like, you know, getting away with like rules, like, you know,
I thought you were gonna say with murder. It's like, oh,
Well, also that if I needed to get away with murder, I would definitely like, you know, bat my eyelashes a couple times.
Also, I did see that scene you were talking about with Michaela, and I understand why she deserved the Oscar. Just saying, it was amazing. Sorry, go ahead.
Wait, what are we talking about?
I was just saying that I saw. The
Do
scene
you
with
not
Michaela.
hate what's her name? Boyfriend's name? I haven't watched it in like 2-3 weeks.
Asher? Well, it's on
Asher.
It's on break now, but
Oh, I hate Asher so much. He's so creepy. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's really the only one that I really ever like actively use, and that's if like, you know, because that's conditional. That's if I can even get away with using it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know that I really like go through thinking like, oh, like this is how I'm gonna use like my ability to walk, or you know, I don't know, or like, you know, I'm thin, so I'm gonna do this. Like I don't think I think about it, but that's my privilege, is I don't really have to think about
exactly.
Yeah.
So okay,
Renee?
so
Hey,
Oh, Renee didn't get to go.
I can go.
Go.
So,
okay, vibrato.
jeez, Louise, y'all went through so many of them.
I feel like I have a
girl.
full
That's why I was
list,
like,
but
I don't
yeah.
have anything.
Yeah, and then you know what's, yeah, I think it's complicated with you. You have like a lot of, so, cause like you have like the thing where you feel like, a lot
Who's
of people see
you?
is like the light skin, right?
Oh, John.
Filipino. So, but which is weird. Like again, this thing is so complicated because like if you were in the Philippines, like a lot of people would say you're light skin, right? Or
Yeah,
maybe
for sure.
or maybe even like white. Like
for sure, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. But then here in the U.S., as far as race in
Right.
in the context of the U.S.,
Right. I
Then-
think in like white spaces, I'm a person of color.
Right.
But like in Filipino or Asian spaces, they're like, what is that?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, this whole thing is just so
Do you think you identify like that as well?
as like white passing.
Not white passing, but like, do you? I don't know.
You're so pale, Renee.
I have to I have to convince everyone. I was like, hey, by the way, like I'm not actually white. Like I know that.
Weren't you telling me a story the other day about people like speaking Spanish in front of you and just assuming you didn't know it?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
People think
sometimes
you're Asian a
people
lot.
think I'm Asian. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I was actually kidding, but
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Never mind.
Oh, well.
I was gonna say, yeah, I was like, did I say that? But I'm like, oh, maybe because I'm Asian. They think I'm Asian.
What part of the Philippines are you from, Renee?
It's so funny. I get asked that at work. Funnily enough.
Yeah, my mom thought you were Filipino.
That's so funny. But yeah, I definitely have like thin privilege, I would say. I mean, I don't think like I have like the most
Banging body.
right, but I do benefit. I know that I benefit from like a lot of things that I'm just like, oh shit, like I didn't have to think about that. And I
Like
think-
sitting down and not having to worry about your stomach going over your jeans privilege.
right,
Yeah.
or like something like I had a friend like talking about like a lot of fashion nowadays and how it relies a lot on like people's arms or chests or like bodies,
Mhm.
and how it's just like if I tried on that outfit, like would it still be as popular, or would everyone think it was still a hot outfit if it were on
Yeah.
me. Like, it was, and this was someone who's bigger. Do you know what I'm saying? And maybe isn't as defined.
Yeah. A lot of fashion does depend on, like, being skinny or being muscular.
Right.
That's
Sample sizes. The
Yeah.
whole idea of a sample size. Yeah.
I mean, I told you guys that one of my friends tries on my clothes, and they're like, "Oh, I love the oversized fit," and I'm just like, anyway.
So,
Yeah, and didn't even realize because he doesn't have to think about it.
Right, exactly.
right. So, I mean, there's that. There's like a.
You have friendship privilege.
Stop saying that.
You have
Stop.
really good friends.
That's not a.
But that's not a
There's
privilege.
people
That's
out
something
there
you
who
work
don't have
for.
friends. Why? I'm being serious.
No, okay, wait. No, okay, that one is also real. Also, that same friend was talking a lot about how, like, they couldn't really make a lot of friends, and they thought that because potentially this could potentially be real, and I think we went over this before. Is like a lot of times you will make friends with people that you think are attractive, and like if you look at like a lot of the way people make friends, like Instagram, Snapchat, or whatever, it's based on like someone's photo, right?
Yeah.
And like
their
why,
highlight reel.
right? And like why are you following this person? Do you know what I'm saying? Are you gonna follow like a lot of these people that you're following? Are they all like super attractive or not?
Wow.
And
That's a discourse.
And this is what they were saying is they were like, I can't even like make an actual real friend. Like no one will actually sit down and like listen to me because I'm not like that like attractive enough for people to like stay and like want to commit to me as a friend. So
that good looking privilege.
I wouldn't say I'm good looking, but
no, I mean a friend that you're representing.
Sure, yeah. But I would say that maybe I don't know. Maybe it's part of the reason. It's that one's a hard one for me to say because I don't think I'm incredibly good looking, but I know that like I have like some type of pull, I guess. So
some girl by.
What? Wait, what are you? Okay. No, say what you need to say, Ricky.
I said what I said. I said what I said. I twote what I twote.
The new quote is "The door is closed."
Who said that?
Nene and Portia. So I like that one. The door is closed.
I twote what I twote. But obviously, like, you know, my experience is very different from that person's, and so like, yeah, what else? Well, I'm a U.S. citizen, which is a huge privilege, and like,
oh
the
shit,
that
yeah,
a lot of my friends or family members have.
That's a good one.
And I like grew up in a house with people that were undocumented. Most of the people in my house were undocumented that I was living with. And obviously saw a lot of the things that they had to experience because of it. And things that had like very direct effects on me and my upbringing during my formative years. But at the same time, like, I'm not at the same risk that they are at all. Or I'm not at the risk of like deportation whatsoever.
Yeah.
So
that's a good one.
I mean, it's a big one. And how I use them, or how I try like the best I can, and maybe to like an intense degree, to try to like talk about these things and like spread awareness about these things, and like try to be there for these people, and like ask sometimes. Like sometimes I'll be like, hey, I'm going to talk about this on the show. Like, is this okay if I say this? And they'll be like, no, don't do that. Or like, yes. And like, even just asking, like almost like asking for an like education or something is like kind of a privilege, and sometimes like a weird fucked up thing.
Yeah.
So
I think there's this like phrase in the community that's around a lot that's like, check your privilege.
Right.
And I mean, one of the reasons why I brought this topic up is because, like, not only do I want us to acknowledge and check our own privileges, but like use it. You know, like you can use your privilege. You know, I'm using my college degree to go be in the medical field to help the community. So like,
And help your broke
that's not what I meant. Anyway,
I'm saying it out of gratitude, not to make fun of you.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Ricky.
No, you're good. I was gonna say, do you have any closing comments? But
that's what I was gonna say. So, I want to give a shout out to my friend Hotita de Amor. You can look them up on Instagram. They have a podcast coming out called Las Reinas de Valle.
Dang!
And so specifically,
The Queens of the Valley.
Yes. So I did we did a workshop at the LGBT youth conference recently, and my story that I told was about the Sirena, which is like this story that I'll get into some other time, but basically is telling the youth that they are magic, and then how do you protect your magic and things like that. But one of the comments was like, I don't believe in magic. This kid was just like, I don't believe in magic. So Hotita was like, why don't we like talk about privilege then? Like, what privileges do you carry? Because like those are some things that we do to like in a way protect ourselves. And for me personally, like I get really depressed sometimes, especially during this season. Like seasonal affective disorder is totally real for me. And so when I'm getting down in the dumps, like one of the things I do is just remember the things that I'm lucky for. One of the things that like how I protect myself and privilege. So like I able-bodied. I was gonna say food privilege. Like even though I'm hungry, like I'm never actually hungry. I don't know what that feels like because I eat every day. I eat multiple times a day, and there's people out there who don't eat, and like I don't know. I just think like fuck, that's a privilege I have, and so like I just when I'm down, and I want listeners and you guys just to remember like these are like just to remember the good stuff that we all have that we don't think about all the time.
Dang.
You guys, any words?
I think you kind of said it, to be honest. Baze, you have anything that you want to add?
Nope. You guys covered it.
All right. So I guess with that, we're going to end the discourse, and then we will move on to Male of Color. So we will see. Okay.
Oh no! I want to do the French accent because I really just enjoy this accent so much more, and I've done the English accent so many times. So I just want to do the French. Today we are reading the Male of Color, the Color. Yes. So. From today we have Ramon Espinoza. He says, "Hello, beautiful people. I'd like to honey roast Rakim. You have the cutest and warmest giggle on air. Makes my day whenever I hear it."
Wait, the cutest what?
Giggle on air.
I'm there with you as far as dealing with the white people in art spaces, but you know what? We gotta keep inserting ourselves with the white cube through. With the white cube, though. I don't get that one, but maybe you do?
Yeah.
Is it an art thing?
Yeah, it's how you go into galleries and they're all white walls, which actually originated in Nazi Germany, but that's a whole conversation for a whole other day.
Yes.
Dang.
The white
construction of the art world and its whiteness.
That's a whole other. That's a discourse for a whole other day.
The white people can't claim art for themselves, and I wish they compensated our emotional labor. If you need to vent, you know where I am. Congrats on all your exposure. I would like also to honey roast John. Thanks for listening to all my Filipino. He's literally spelled it Filipino. Parental problems. You are such an inspiration. Speaking about Filipinos, you all need to stop saying the N-word. Yes, please, everyone who is not black, please stop saying the N-word. That is from me, Baze. This is not from Ramon. Also, Mario, if you are listening, see you soon, bub. Much love to you all. Ramon. So I'm assuming you guys know that person.
Yes. Oh my god. That's so cute. That's so cute. Kilig.
So for our next letter, we have Elijah. Hey yo guys, my name is Eli. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, I already call you Elijah, but I will call you Eli from now on. So I'm a young gay just starting out to develop my young adult life. I was inspired by, I'll just read in American. I don't feel like doing this anymore. I was inspired by Rakeem's body positive shoot to ask, what's the deal with body dysmorphia in the gay community? On one side, it feels like you have to be white twink to be attractive, but on the flip side, even in bear groups, it feels like if you're not big, you're not attractive either. And this is especially prevalent in apps like Growler and Grindr, where people will feel ballsy enough to attack you for your size or only like you for your size. It just feels like I'm too big or not big enough for these niche white spaces, but sometimes that's the case in gay POC communities too. So I guess my question is, how do you navigate through these spaces that are so body conscious? You kind of answered that last week with the last email, but you can jump right in on there, Mr. Rakeem.
Yeah, I just feel like I think that when it comes to body dysmorphia in the gay community, I think it's something where, and I say gay and not queer on purpose, because I feel like the queer community is a lot more accepting of what people look like. I think a lot of gay media, when you look at like even, for example, like the people that Grindr use as like their, like stock photographs, or who Scruff uses, or who apps use, or if you just drive through West Hollywood and you see the apps that are there, they always kind of bombard you with certain type of imagery. And so the reason why we did that particular shoot and why I asked John and Yvonne to be a part of it was because it was important for people to see people that don't necessarily fit that mold, but also like just because we wanted to show intimacy among that, we wanted to show people who who aren't necessarily caring about, I guess the way to put it is, you see a lot of people who hang out with people who only look like them, or who only hang out with people who would fuck them, like people who they deem fuckable. And I wanted to show something that was on a more like intimate, personal level, I guess. But when it comes to that, I think sometimes we're just so bombarded with this imagery, and we're told that this is supposed to be right. This is supposed to be what you're supposed to look like. And I think a lot of that comes from straight media too. Like you see a lot of these like male singers and they look a certain way, and you're not allowed to, have body fat, and like you're supposed to lose it. And like, even when it comes to people like Sam Smith, for example, like, he's talked a lot about like, how his weight loss has done this, and this for him, like, which is great, but it's also, I'm a big proponent of being confident as how you are, but also being confident on the journey to get where you want to go. So if I weigh a certain amount and I want to lose weight, like, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm also going to know that I'm that bitch when I'm 250, but also when I'm 180. So like in that on the journey too, like I'm not going to sit there and be like, I'm only going to be confident in myself when I get to this certain weight, because you're going to get to that weight and you're still going to find something wrong with yourself. And also being at a certain weight doesn't mean that you're doesn't mean that you're going to change as a person when it comes to personality wise. Sometimes like I don't particularly place a lot of self-worth in how I look physically so much as that I know that I'm a good person, and I know that I try my best and I work very hard. And then my physical, it's something that can always change, I guess. So
can I also, I know this was a question for Rakeem, but I also wanted to say,
don't speak over the black voice, John.
No, I was speaking after.
I know this was about
I'm
you,
kidding, I'm
Rakeem,
kidding.
but actually,
I'm speaking
kidding.
after.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead, John.
No, I just wanted to come through like a history / medical standpoint on like what's the deal with body issues in the gay community. I read this article recently. I wish I knew the name and the source, but I don't because I'm trash, but I'll look it up next time. But during the HIV/AIDS epidemic, the way you looked basically was your status on your health. Like people would say that like, oh, that person who's too skinny is wasting away. That person has HIV. That person has AIDS. And then when medications started coming out, one of the side effects of HIV medications was that lipodystrophy, where you get fat in places that you don't really want it, which is basically your gut, your upper back. And so when people saw someone that was fat, they'd be like, that person's on HIV medications. That person's like not healthy. That person's gross, So a lot of these body issues kind of stemmed from the history of the HIV/AIDS epidemic and like what was healthy and what wasn't. And so people were obsessed with getting muscles. People were obsessed on their appearance because no one wanted to be thought of as like ill, you know.
Whoa.
So that's where a lot of that came from.
Yeah.
Dang.
There you go.
Okay. I'm trying to get through a couple more emails. Let us see who's next. Let us see. Okay, you know, I'm just gonna read this one. Hi all, your latest episode. And this is from 6 days ago. So what is that? Is that our most recent episode?
That's correct. A week and 7 days.
You know what, bitch? Don't make me get on a flight, bitch.
Okay,
your
girl,
latest
book the right
episode
day.
really hit. Huh?
What?
Mm-hmm. Your latest episode really hit home for me. I fell for a friend a few years back, crushed on him all through college, but neither of us were out. And when we finally hooked up, he began dating our best friend, a girl. I foolishly became the closest lover and thought he'd leave her when she found out. Psych, he didn't, and we remain friends to this day, even after attending his and hers wedding. Ooh.
Oh.
I hated myself for a while for thinking there was a future. My first relationship experience ever, and I became a Tyler Perry character. But I ain't bitter in Maxine Shaw voice. It was something that happened and I learned from. I'm grown since and realize I'm worth more than that, even though the sex was F-I-R-E, capital F-I-R-E. Show the love.
Planes.
Love the show and all your perspectives. Thanks, Philip. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you.
We
Philip.
love little stories like this that really, like, you know, just we love a little bit of tea in the evening. You know, gets you relaxed and ready for bed.
But I'm also glad he is past that.
Exactly.
Part of it,
Exactly.
yeah. More importantly.
Okay, so this is going to be the last email that I read. Hey, trash bags. I've been working up the confidence to tell you guys how much I appreciate all of your lovely selves and the podcast. Last week's episode on unrequited love really hit home, specifically Bays talking about unrequited friendships. I'm very queer and from SD. Okay, technically Temecula raised, but we don't talk about that. And I'm living in rural
Temecula.
I'm living in rural ass northern Japan. I've been here for just under 3 years, and when I first got here, I was lucky because most of the foreigners in my area were queer too. We all became really close, but most of them left Japan almost 2.5 years ago. I have people I can hit up and chill with occasionally, but for the most part, I've had no friends here for over 2 years. Japan's a weird country, and it's extremely difficult to make friends here, even for Japanese people, but especially if you're different in any way, and it's not exactly LGBT friendly. Being on different life tracks and in different time zones makes it harder to keep up with friends back home too. I love my life here, but frankly, loneliness is hard to experience, and it's even harder to admit that you experience it. So I want to say thank you. Every Tuesday, it's like I get to hang out with my beautiful queer PLC friends from back home, have conversations like I used to, and joke like I used to. I don't care if this gets aired or not. I mostly just want to let you guys know I appreciate the work you all do.
Thank you.
I wanted to shout out to Darian.
Not doing it for the Vine.
I wanted to shout out Darian, IDK if he remembers me, because we met once in Kome? I don't know. Tokyo's gay district like 2 years ago. But anyways, I followed him on Tumblr for a few years, and I learned about your podcast through him, so I'm thankful to him too. Hope you all have an amazing week.
I hope you have an amazing week too. You just need to back off my man. That's all I'm saying. But
wow.
P.S.
My man. So
P.S. I tried to support on Patreon for like a minute, but I had to stop because grad apps cost money. So I want to apologize and let you know I totally plan on restarting that once I get money back in my pocket. You know what? Thank you for even doing it at all. Like, thank you for even doing it at all. And also just like, wow, like all the way from Japan. Shout out. Thank you so much for supporting us and listening to us. And I hope you do find your family, your crew. I believe in you, Miriam.
Your cheetah sisters. And, okay.
Cheetah sisters.
Yeah, your cheetah
Are we
sisters.
cheetah sisters?
Okay, I'm going to read this one last one really quick.
Sisters.
Okay, I'm going to read this one.
I am Dorinda.
Hold on, I'm going to read this last one really quick. Hey, Trash Bags, I've been a huge fan of your podcast. Sorry, I'm just trying to like clear these out so that when we get more, it's not like, oh, you answered this months later.
Trying to fleet my inbox.
I've been a huge fan of your podcast since about episode 2, and it's amazing to see your journey through developing a hobby into a full-blown outlet for queer PLC like myself to listen to, who reflect the positivity I want to see in the world. Everyone's personality reflects friendship. Friendships I fostered with my friends this year through our love of drag, and specifically Nina Bonina Brown's live streams, which never seem to end.
Yes.
The people in my social life
Shade.
are able to ground me when I need it and the most, and constantly push me to achieve my goals on a daily basis. And I'm infinitely grateful to the people who have stuck by my side and continue to positively back my decisions to move, and for the friends I've lost along the way. Your actions have already spoken for you. Oop, okay. By the time you're reading this, I'll be landing in LA to start the next chapter of my young adult life away from home for the first time. And although I have many, many fears about what's to come, I'm very excited for the many opportunities that may arise from this experience. I wanted to know if you guys had any advice, suggestions for someone new to the city, and what are some tips that y'all could share for starting a podcast. And shout out to Renee for working Valentina's booth at DragCon. You were insanely kind and helpful to my friends and I. Love and best wishes, Ahmad.
Aw.
Any quick little tips?
Stay home.
Like I always tell people, if you're a club person, if you want to be around PLC and you want to still kind of get the WeHo experience, Blow on Fridays is at the I forgot the name of the establishment. Penthouse, yeah, which is across the street from the Abbey. I really I miss Milk, which is on Melrose, and it's this ice cream and dessert place. Just go and see all the, go on the hikes. I miss hikes. I miss, go to the beach. And, I never went to the beach, and, now it's too cold to go to the beach here. Go to the beach, and there's the gay beach. Where's the gay beach that we always go, we've gone to?
There's the Will Rogers Gay Beach. It's a mile north up from
God, that mess.
Yes, go there.
Be prepared. It's mostly white bodies, but there'll be a few POC sprinkled around.
Yeah, with their whites. What else? What else is there, guys?
I like every Wednesday, or not every Wednesday, but there's a party at the Virgil called Keke LA, and it's a lot of QPOC.
I think that one's over, right?
No, it's still happening.
I thought last week was the last one.
It just happened a month ago. Oh, was it?
They said that there was the last one ever.
Just kidding.
Well, what about gay roller night on Wednesdays?
Yeah, there's a gay roller rink.
The other one.
What did you say it? I forgot. I can't think.
The one that Madden helps throw.
Oh,
everybody? Or no. For us, by us.
FUBU?
I'm so embarrassed. Yeah, well, there's FUBU, but that's not a party. I mean, it can be a party.
Yeah.
Show up. It's on Facebook. Look it up. Shit, why am I blanking out right now? Hold on, I'll think of it.
It's at the
Eagle
monthly,
it's,
right?
There was a women's takeover of because Eagle's mostly a male-bodied space.
Women and queer, yeah.
Women, yeah. So just basically most people. Hold on. God, I'm so embarrassed. I forgot right now.
That's okay. You can think of it
that
later.
party's cool. Also, I would, what's cool? Go to. I'm trying to think of my favorite things.
It's called Cruise. There you go. Cruise LA.
Cruise LA is fun.
Yeah.
The party called Rail Up. If you ever go to Rail Up, that one is a pretty good QPOC party. Or, well, it was a pretty good POC party. And then Precinct. And then I would go to Lake Shrine Temple if you ever want to go and meditate amongst the hills of LA and stuff like that.
For non-party stuff, there's a bunch of free museums. The Underground Museum I really like. That's free.
The Getty is beautiful.
Yeah, the Getty's free.
The corner liquor store is great. You can get a lot of things there. They have strawberries for free, or not for free, but very cheap.
Promenade in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
If you're coming to LA and you have no health insurance, you can go to the LA LGBT Center for free testing and free if you need PrEP, all that stuff. So check it out.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
Well, with that, we're going to wrap up this episode of POC. You can find us on Twitter at Trashacolor. You can find us everywhere else at Podcastacolor. Send in your honey roast emails. And if y'all want to send in messy shit too, y'all can do that. We haven't had
we love messy shit.
We love mess. We love mess. We love mess. Ours. So yeah. So if y'all want
I want some not to reference the read, but we love them and we're inspired by them. I want some Like, I was listening to, like, Thanksgiving episode, and there was, like, some white gay had written in about how his black boyfriend wanted him to call him a nigger in bed. Like, I want some messy shit like that. Like, I want to laugh. Like, I want some crazy shit. Like,
Yeah.
tell us some shit. You don't even have to mention your
I want to
name.
laugh.
You know,
Yeah,
I just want to
exactly.
I
Like-
want to have a good time.
If you want to know if you should slit your boyfriend's tires and stuff like that, just like let us know and like we'll give you advice and say yes.
You know?
So
Mm-hmm.
anyway,
and also just write us in, write letters. We need letters. I'm begging you again because I gotta beg y'all every week for y'all to do it. So, thank you.
Wow, this slave voice. That's what he
I
naturally
sure
does.
did. I sure did bring the slave voice back on.
Okay, well, anyway, on that note, we're going to end this episode and we will see you guys next week.
I wish I could
Bye.
tap dance. I wish I could tap dance.